Okay, so let's just get started. What shall I call you? Is Samson your first name?
Yeah, Samson Okonkwo is my name, Reverend Father Samson Okonkwo.
Okay, so Father Okonkwo or Father Samson or just Samson? What do you prefer?
Any of it is okay.
Okay,
Father Samson anyway is preferable.
Okay, well, Father Samson, that's what I will call you then. So I'm Dr. McMillan here in Los Angeles. What city are you in Nigeria?
I'm in Imo State.
Ah, Imo State, okay. And are you a parish priest or what is your role there?
I'm an assistant parish priest, an associate, okay, that's the correct.
Right. Yeah, the
Yes.
an associate pastor, associate priest.
Yeah.
And how did you hear about our program?
Actually, someone referred me or someone sent the link to me. You know, I've been just expressing my desire to, further my education and do some sort of studies on bioethics.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually a priest from my diocese also, but residing in the US, at a point just sent the link to me and said that I should try my luck, that this university is offering, giving people opportunity to come and read the bioethics, something that I can just try my luck. And
Okay.
that is how I started giving my application.
Great. Well, we're very happy to have your interest. We've had many Nigerian priests in our program, and they are some of my favorite students.
Wow.
Yeah, I love my priests. They're so nice, just so nice. That's what I gotta say. I want to tell you that the way it works with Loyola Marymount is there is a fund for the tuition for priests who are visiting from another country that's considered to be a developing country. And so Nigeria qualifies in that category. And so if you were accepted into the program, then you are eligible for complete tuition from this fund. But that is not awarded to you until you are actually admitted into the program. All right, so I can't promise you in advance, oh, just come here and you'll get the money. You have to fit all the requirements from our program, right, in order to be admitted. And they're pretty rigorous, but not anything different than any other graduate level program would require. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. The other thing is that in order to come here, what most of our priests have done from either the Philippines or from Nigeria, they have a pastor position. They have a parish assignment somewhere in Los Angeles area. So I don't know how much you know about Los Angeles, but it's clearly a very large city, but it's very spread out over 40 miles, which is, I don't even know how many kilometers that is. But anyway, it's 40 miles, like that's got to be at least 80 kilometers, 80 or 90. And there are different communities in that space. And of course, different parishes. But in order to get a parish placement, you have to work with the Archdiocese of Los Angeles. So they have a list of, I think, 200 priests who are looking for a place in a Los Angeles parish from out internationally. So if you were relying on a parish placement in order to come here to study, that would be a very large hurdle. That would be between your bishop and the bishop here in Los Angeles to see if they could come to an agreement to find you a placement. If you did find a placement in a parish here, then your visa would be an R1, which is a religious visa, which here in the bioethics department at the university, we have nothing to do with this. And in fact, I'm only telling you what I know, but I don't know all the details. I just want to make sure you understand that applying to our program academically is the first step. And then if you're accepted, then we can talk about if there's funding to it for your tuition. And then after that, you still have to figure out if you have a parish placement, or if at the very least you have a place here that you can live and work while you attend classes. You can still be here on an R1, which is a religious visa, or an F1, which is an international student. You can be here on an F1 visa just as a student, even if you're not immediately a parish priest, even if you're just living here. But we would just have to have the documentation that you've been ordained a priest and you have a parish at some other place, but that you are here to study from Nigeria and that you intend to go back and take your bioethics education with you or find a placement here in the United States. So there are several different pieces that you have to do. All right. Do you have any questions about that?
Okay, and I think in that area, my bishop should come in. If by God's grace, maybe the application is accepted and I am given the opportunity to come and do the studies, my bishop has to be aware. And also, there are so many of us who have, gone out for studies like this. And I know he's the one who also gives a kind of approval and also sends the approval to the diocese or archdiocese involved where the person will stay. And probably the people will now, having gotten a kind of a letter from the bishop, will now assign the person where he will stay and carry out the studies.
That is correct. That is what would happen. But I want you to know, I have to say, I've had 2 other Nigerian priests in the past 5 years who've been disappointed, where we accepted them, we had their tuition lined up, they could not get a parish placement because there were already 150 or more other priests in front of them who were already waiting for a placement. So I don't know how that works. I don't know if your bishop can ask special favors. I don't know if there's a special category that you fit where they need to have you ahead of the other people in line. I can't respond to that. And we have nothing to do with it. Before we start talking about all the academics, I just wanted you to understand, we're going to talk about one thing, which is our program and how you get in. And then after that, we talk about money. And somewhere else, you are working with your bishop once you've been accepted in finding a parish placement, or finding a place for you to live, all right, while you do your studies. And that we don't help with that. That's not part of what we do. So it is a complicated process, but it can work. It can work.
Seriously.
So yes. And I have to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think the 5 Nigerian priests that we've had already through our program, they were already here in the United States, already working at a parish, and then they applied for our program.
Okay.
The 2 who were disappointed were in Nigeria and trying to come here to find a placement, and it didn't work. So I don't want you to get your hopes up, because we were all very disappointed when it didn't work. But you know, that was then, and maybe things have changed. It's been more than 2 years since we had to do that.
Okay.
Okay, so let me give you some information about our program then. I'm going to share my screen.
Mhm.
Okay, so this is, oh, I'm gonna stop that. Now I'm gonna do it. Okay, so we're the Bioethics Institute inside of Loyola Marymount University. And so you probably already know Loyola Marymount is a Catholic institution.
Yeah.
A Jesuit institution. I myself am not Catholic, I'm Episcopal, but I like to think that I'm a Jesuit because I believe in the mission. I believe in the mission of the Jesuits, which is let's educate our fellow man and have social justice oriented goals, and that makes me very happy. So I consider myself a Jesuit if anybody asks. The Bioethics Institute is not a department. We don't have a bioethics department in our university, like an English department or a history department. Bioethics right now is like an umbrella, and we use professors from many different departments. So philosophy and theology and science and law, those are our professors. So we're an institute, not a department. Under the Institute, we do have our graduate program. We have an undergraduate minor. We do a lot of campus outreach, and we do community education. So the graduate program is the master's program. We do not have a PhD, it's just a master's. The undergraduate minor is very popular. So those are the students who are majoring in biology or psychology or some other, and then they have bioethics as a minor. Our campus outreach, we work with our students to help them do scholarly projects, to do networking with other professionals to enhance their careers. And then we also have lectures during the year that we invite the student community and in the city that we live in, Los Angeles, to have other people come watch these. So the thing that's important about our program is it's multidisciplinary. Bioethics, as you know, is moral decision-making about things having to do with life, right? Bioethics. So that is, that's what the word means, but the field of bioethics, the practice of bioethics, has many different people in it. Doctors, lawyers, teachers, scientists, educators, lawmakers, religious leaders, the common person, the person who's working in the health clinic, the person who's doing administration of research projects. So it's multidisciplinary. Someone with a literature background can be one of our students, someone with a science background or even a math background or an art background or film background. Those people bring those skills with them to study bioethics with us. And so our faculty comes from a lot of different fields as well. We are campus-based programs. So yes, during the pandemic, we had online classes, but starting in the spring, we will be offering our classes only in person. And then our students, we're a small program, so we're able to fund our students to attend conferences, and they can work with our faculty to find off-campus opportunities to observe bioethics in action, like with an ethics committee or with an IRB or research review. So we have 2 graduate programs. The Master of Arts is the one that you're talking about, which is 10 classes. So it's 2 years. You would take 2 classes per semester. That we consider that to be full-time. And it's 2 classes in the fall, in the spring, 2 classes in the summer. And then again, the next year, 2 classes in the fall and 2 classes in the spring. That's the typical progression of classes. So this is what it looks like. The first year, you take these 2 classes, Introduction to Bioethics and Foundations of Philosophical Ethics. Then in the spring, the student would take Foundations of Theological Ethics and an elective. Then in the summer, we have 2 short sessions that are each 6 weeks long. And in each 6-week-long session, the student takes the class twice a week. So for summer, you take twice a week for 6 weeks for research ethics. And then immediately after that, there's another 6 weeks of clinical ethics, and that's also twice a week. Then in the second year, the student takes law and bioethics and bioethics at the end of life. And then finally, bioethics at the beginning of life and the last elective. So this is a typical schedule for one of our master's students. We are now letting, so we're a cohort system. That means most of our students begin in the fall, and then they all continue, that same group of students. It's between 7 and 10. They continue on for the whole 2 years. So they get to know each other very well. They're in all their classes together. Although we've recently become more flexible, and sometimes students enter in the spring or the summer. I don't advise that. I think it's better if you enter in the fall, but sometimes there's a really good reason to do something different. So sometimes students enter at a different time. So the application process is that if your application is complete by March 15th, then we will, it's like you get an extra point. We don't really give you a point, but in our mind, this is somebody who is very serious about coming to our program. So if your application is complete by March 15th, it will go, that first group of applications usually becomes the core of the cohort. And those students have the first opportunity for the funding that we offer. The scholarships and grants, you as an international priest from a developing country, you would be eligible for that full tuition. If for some reason you were coming here just as a regular student, then we have a separate deadline of April 7th to file those scholarship applications. But this is not, generally, this is not a funded program. It's rare that anybody receives more than 50%. It's just not how our program works. We're very happy that we can apply, we can offer some scholarships, but it is important to get in early and to apply, to submit all the paperwork needed if you want to be considered for that kind of funding. So our community engagement, as I mentioned, we hold lectures. Here's just some examples of the kinds of topics that we have offered. We usually have between 100 and 135 people that attend our lectures. Of course, we've done them on Zoom for the last 18 months, and our next one is going to be on November 4th, and I'll make sure you get a link to it. And that one will be also on Zoom. Hopefully in spring, we can do something in person. So our students come from undergraduate work in the health sciences. So we have a lot of youngsters who just have finished their first degree in college, in the university. And we also have students who are already lawyers, are already physicians, already priests, already nurses, and they come to get this master's and they take it back with them to where they go. So the undergraduates want to learn about theory, or they want to lay the groundwork for future doctoral work, or they want to get exposure to bioethical systems. In the United States, bioethical systems include hospitals. So you can either be a clinical ethicist working with the physicians on handling challenging conversations with patients, or you can be a chaplain in a hospital, or you can work in the medical research system, right? In the United States, there's the regulatory system. So then bioethicists can go work for the government to help them make the kinds of laws or offer insight into the kinds of laws that need to be passed to protect the public regarding bioethical situations. And then other systems are like the public health system. So the clinics or health literacy programs, or working with the disadvantaged populations to make sure they have access to healthcare. That's another kind of system. And then obviously there are religious systems. So we have priests who come in and get the master's, but it's not because they want to go on to be a doctorate, or go on for a PhD, but because they want to take this understanding of bioethics back to their congregation, back to their pastoral care. And with this accurate understanding of the issues, they can better serve their congregations. So here's a picture of some of our students from, let's see, what year was that? That looks like it was 2019. This is the last time we had a graduation because of COVID.
Okay.
I know, it's very sad. They had, everything else was on Zoom. Hopefully this spring we'll have another graduation.
Okay.
And then this is me. I have to change this. I'm not the program administrator anymore. I'm the acting graduate. But anyway, that's still my email. And this is our hub. So do you have any questions? And I can go back to any of these slides if you have a question about them.
Okay. The aspect of the priest and his involvement in the studies, where you talked about maybe after the whole program, the person goes back to his place of work to apply whatever he has learned. I think that is an aspect that has seriously, got me, so much interested in the whole thing, because, when you come down to here in Nigeria, one of the burning issues that has triggered my desire in this is, this aspect of this current issue of COVID-19 and all that. During that last year when it was happening, I think I was in Lagos during the whole of that 2020, the whole thing was happening. And when it was coming to Nigeria, we had that so many people did not really believe in the existence of the virus. And now that the existence has been established and we have vaccines that are being distributed for vaccination, a lot of people now are not are not interested in going to take the vaccine. And now, if you like, in the state we are, this Imo State, I think the governor of the state is placing a kind of is a kind of compelling every civil servant to go and, is making it compulsory for all the civil servants. And people are not also responding because of they don't really have that belief that COVID-19 exists. And my concern in this whole thing is if the people are not accepting the vaccine and the government is making it compulsory for the people, I'm now asking, is it really right? And to what extent is government, allowed to place that such compulsory whatever on it? And if the people are not also accepting the vaccine, is it not going to also to pose a kind of challenge also in the health of the people? So why I'm narrating all this is just to give a kind of approval to that of if someone should come up and make such study with experience and all that, can come in and begin to give a guideline in this kind of situation.
So that is Father Sampson, that is exactly what bioethics is for, and what our program tries to do is for our students. You come here and we teach you how to find the accurate information, how to frame the accurate information according to logical, ethical principles, philosophical constructs, church dogma, all of these things that are important to having a good conversation so we can make an ethical decision. That's what we practice doing. And we talk about, like, I need to make it clear, this is a Catholic institution, but there's no such thing as Catholic bioethics, right?
Okay.
Bioethics is a system of ethics. It is a system of arguing, not in a mean way or a bad way, but it's a system of having a conversation that is thoughtful and considered and backed by accurate information, right? And you bring your faith with you to the conversation. Okay. The conversation is not faith-based, but you bring your faith with you. So we have in our program, we have Christians and Jewish people and Muslims and atheists and agnostics and evangelicals and Mormons. You can imagine, it's such a great class. All these different people sitting around the table, and they're all looking at the same question, right? And then we practice having the conversation, making sure what we say is based on fact, but in a way that is respectful to what everybody else is bringing to. So this instance that you're talking about, this example is exactly appropriate. And frankly, what we tell all of our students is, you are all teachers. So you're going to take what you learn here and you're going to go back out into the world, and you're going to be teaching others about it, whether it is to your kitchen table with your kids, or at the Thanksgiving meal with your family and the grandmas who have traveled a long way to have this family meeting, or if it's in your church from the front of the church, or if you're the usher in the back of the church. Wherever you go, you're going to take this bioethics, this learning that you have, and share it with others so that they can have better conversations. That's a mission, right? That's the mission of our program, is to bring bioethics out to the people in a variety of ways. Sometimes it's about going to get your doctorate and being a professor. And sometimes it's about going back to your job at the grocery store and having the conversations with the people you work with. It's all bioethics. And just like you said, the people don't know how to have these important conversations. And it's not that they don't want to have them, they just don't know how to. So you're gonna come out and you're gonna go teach them. And exactly with COVID, oh my gosh, so many instances that have come up where we've seen that bioethics training and knowledge is necessary. In these times, this is global danger, you know.
Yeah.
But so yeah, it sounds to me like, I mean, it sounds like your interests and your intent fit with our program. When's the last time that you were in school?
That was, I finished my theological studies 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a system here that after your studies in the seminary, you have to wait for 1 year before you get ordained. So I observed that 1 year also. Then after my ordination, after the first year of my ordination, I enrolled for a PGD program, Diploma in Education.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is still I have not concluded it, as a matter of fact, because of the COVID something, it was actually stopped. And that was when I went to Lagos and just observed the kind of pastoral experience for 1 year in Lagos State, and just came back about a year ago to my diocese again.
Mm-hmm.
So I had my last education was the last time I was in school was that is 2018.
Okay, so if you go like, let me see. So do you have you have my email address, I think.
Yeah.
Because I got the emails from you today. So at least I have your email address.
Okay.
Let me see. Because I should send you some. There we go. Padre Samson. Right, Padre Samson 346@gmail.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will send you some information. Have you already looked at our website?
Yeah, there was the first time I sent the application, the person who responded also shared the website with me, and I was able to go. Yeah, but you can still send something to me so that.
Right. Well, what I'll do is after our call here, I will look in the system to see. Have you started an application already?
Not quite. Not in details anyway. Not in details.
Okay. So I will take a look at that. I will send you some more links. And then, and I will be very clear what your next steps are. And I will, like everything, the general information I gave to you about international priests from developing countries, I will put that in the email also. And then I'm the acting director. I'm the person who will help all the students complete their applications. So you should be in contact with me as you go through the process. And like, just so, like I said, I don't want you, I've been disappointed so many times before, but I want to tell you that if, let's say, you get accepted this year, but it takes 2 years for you to find a parish placement, your acceptance is good for 2 years. Okay. So you know, sometimes everything doesn't happen fast.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. But you start taking one step at a time.
Okay.
So you and I will be in communication about that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much.
And then anytime you have questions, email is the best. You can email the questions to me and I will answer the best I can. And if you ever need to set up, if we need a chat, we can set up a Zoom call or a phone call time.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Now, I feel like I gave you a lot of information just now. We're gonna hang up and then you're gonna think of all kinds of questions.
Okay, okay,
Just email them to me, all right? And I will respond.
okay, okay.
All right, then.
Thank you.
And do you have anything else you want to talk about, or is your brain full?
Well, I wouldn't know what my head could give me now. Well, let me see. I think I count myself fortunate to have been given this opportunity to speak with you, and also to join in this open house encounter. It's really a great opportunity for me, and I must sincerely say thank you.
Well, you're welcome. And I hope that you end up here with us. And in the meanwhile, you and I will stay in communication, okay?
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Father Sampson. I will see you soon, I hope.
Thank you. Thank you.
Alrighty,
And
bye-bye.
thank you. God bless you.